Dunk a baby in the waterfall. Oh wait, that's me. Hi guys, so this is the kind of summary of my training in October, starting with my fiance dunking me into like a cold waterfall to reenact one of our friend's videos he did with his little baby, so shout out to Jesse's. So what I'm starting with is some front salt or front flip variations, just because I don't actually do them very often and I kind of just felt like warming up on the air track. So after watching a lot of people doing videos like this, like again, huge fan of like Damon, Aaron, Noah, a lot of the guys doing videos like this, I kind of want to capture what my thought processes are in a lot of these things. I also don't have interesting enough tricks to do weekly videos, so I kind of am just doing it in a month, which is why it's still a decent video, so I might do it in half, we'll see. But anyway, what I was trying to focus on with this one was kind of like a front salt with an axe kick, and also like a figure four, but it didn't quite come out the way I wanted. And then also remembering how to do flail full from just the front flip version of it. My vanish kicks, as you can see, I lose control, but that's because I don't often train doing several vanishes, like vanish nines in a row. And so I remember seeing Damon do it on concrete in one of his like earlier videos. And so I kind of wanted to see if I could use it for the same reason he said, which is like, it's a good spotting drill. I think I say something here.
If I get this, I have to legally change my name to Philip Vanish 9 Gibbs. Oh, I really hope I don't get this. Oh, that's right, yeah. Now I have to legally.
There you go, guys. The next thing I have to do this year is go down to the government or whatever it is to legally change my name to Vanish 9 Gibbs. Not coincidentally, sadly, immediately after that session, or a couple of hours into our shift, where I work actually got flooded in. And so this video is me explaining kind of what happened. It's tough to see, obviously, because cameras don't usually do it justice, and also I'm terrible at explaining things. But basically on our side of the room, like where you see most of the clips that myself, Joe, and the others are training, as well as where we teach the classes, didn't get affected too badly, thankfully. Like some of the roof tiles started coming down, but the biggest issue was the room next to us. And again, this video doesn't do it justice because all of those tiles near the front door completely started caving in. So they either fell through or actually like started falling through. So one of the instructors actually saved a kid from getting wrecked by a bunch of water and the tile falling on her. So shout out to Seehing. Well done. What a man. Definitely the hero of that day because that was stressful. Kids and parents were freaking out, but we managed to keep things as under control as we could. So yeah, thank God for that because it wasn't good, but it could have been
Game's a game.
That's Joe. So we were actually back into the facility not too long afterwards, which was good. So kind of just brushing up with a couple of basics because as I'm sure you guys have noticed for anyone that's watched my older videos or anything like that is that kicks are not my strength. So one of the things I'm trying to focus on is like making sure that I'm practicing in terms of like executing the right hip position and also trying to balance, which I'm not very good at. So I also noticed, and I'm curious as well, how many trickers also just warm up with like round hook. I think almost every tricker I've seen while they're warming up will start with round kick, hook kick. And I'm extremely guilty of that. So not guilty, it's not a bad thing, it's fine. But now with this, another trick that was a weakness of mine that I used to struggle balancing with was pop 7 dubs. So I wanted to do a few of those. Now this idea actually came from the student that I teach from America, so Kashawn. Dude, like if it wasn't for us having that conversation, I don't think I would have even bothered trying this. So I was trying to figure out how to do like tornado miss leg aerial. And that's the one where I think I got it. You can tell by the expression that one felt a little bit nifty. So I think I was starting to understand it from that point. And then the goal was to eventually be able to try and get it to like cheat 9 cheat 9 miss leg aerial, and then try to combo it. So the 9 is a bit yuck, but I'm trying to understand how to do it like an actual miss leg aerial so it doesn't end up like a weird B kick. And then I was trying it to a combo, but you'll notice with a lot of the clips that most of these end up being bloody front side 9s. So I wanted to finish with this, although it's unclean. So I wanted to finish with like backside 9 hook, cart full hyper, and then like aerial inside round. Oh, frontside 9, yes. Legendary. But by this point, after work and also after just trying to get that right, like learning the miss leg aerial, I was just exhausted. So, victorious landing. Yeah. So I had absolutely nothing left, so decided to call it there anyway.
I know why. Because I suck.
So the next day I got to hit up AC and ended up doing some stuff on the tumble track because I didn't have to teach a private lesson.
Should I be tricking today? Probably not. That's why I'll just do air track stuff. Maybe.
So I didn't realize this until Joe mentioned it, but that clip there, while definitely unclean and very heavy, as you can tell by my expression, that was the first time I'd done double back, even though it was on air track, first time I'd done it since I destroyed my ankle earlier this year. So I was like, oh yeah, thanks for that, Joe. And then I really wanted to get the timing back of my favorite trick, which is full X out full. So I absolutely love the skill, but I just don't get the timing right. Sometimes it ends up too side on. So this is, I believe, the next week where I was just doing some tumbling practice on the air track at where I work. And then I think I didn't film a lot of it because I'm an idiot. So I just kind of ended up working on like round off and trying to bring my full snapu shape out. Because for anyone that saw the first video, yes, I can do full snapu, but it's just not really well executed. And then I also wanted to kind of figure out how to make my hurricane more legit. I'm not after it being perfect, but it definitely is annoying when it's like first kick, no second kick. But here's the third kick. So that being said, while the hurricanes weren't really clean and defined, I also didn't realize this until I finished that this is the first time I've actually done a combo with hurricane. So I remember thinking, look, cart dub, yay, that's great, but what I really wanted to end up getting was hurricane into snapu. So I absolutely love the look of that two-hitter, but as I've mentioned before, snapu was not a strong suit of mine, let alone trying to get it out of a kick that I can't even clearly define. So, and on that note, here's me trying to prep snapus. So I was trying to kind of understand what Joe and Damon do with their delayed shape and then gyro, but I just couldn't quite get the timing of it.
Merry Christmas, I guess. Oh. Come on, Phil. The old you would have done it.
Valid point. The old me would have done it. One of the things that I definitely struggle with, like I mentioned before, is committing to actually squeezing. So it's something I've noticed in... I think I'm making sounds.
These guys are what, maybe 30s?
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad if they're in their 30s, wouldn't it?
No, but I mean like, they would have been...
I'm being
Imagine still going out clubbing while being in your 30s.
Oh, you nearly had it.
I know. I was there.
I felt it.
Yeah. I saw that
But
guy
anyway,
do that thing.
snapu was just a no-go that day, so I think I'm going to have to really focus on drilling that a little bit more, just because I don't do it very consistently. I can't remember, but I think this clip I was actually working on switchblade. So I'd never actually done one before, and I was inspired by Aaron from New Zealand to try, because I know he was working it. I think I say that in the next clip. Let's find out together.
My birthing hips.
Never mind, it's Joe getting wrecked. It's quite a weird shape to go into a double leg and then a hyper hook, because I can't quite get the hip turn as nice.
Also, thank you for the well, you didn't even make the suggestion, Aaron. I just watched your videos all the time, so you've motivated me to try and learn switchblade.
Yeah, cheers, Aaron. Loving your videos, dude. Love them so much. But yeah, it was a cool inspiration to try tricks that I usually wouldn't try, which is exactly why I love these kinds of edits that people are doing. And still gives me something that I get to film. It's easier to make than samplers to an extent. So I really enjoy the process of drilling things that I don't usually do, or at least it's giving me like a motivation to be consistently training. The thing that I struggle with a little bit now is catering because I'm tricking more frequently than I was before, both due to injury and also that just happens with trickers. Sometimes there's a really good vibe where you're like, I want to train a little bit more tricks wise, and then other times you want to focus on other things. So trying to get that ratio right between my gym, as in my weights training, my tricking training, as well as making sure I have enough time to recover, because it's a little bit slower than it used to be. But yeah, because my fiance and I have actually been making steps in terms of improving our health, the recovery has actually been even better than it was before. So what I'm trying to do here is just...
Did you like that,
it's not... talking to Kelly, I think. It's not something crazy hard. It's just same with a lot of these tricks where it's like, if I don't specifically practice parts of it, my muscle I almost opened the back of my head. muscle memory takes over and not in a good way. So sideswipe wrap full for me isn't exactly... I used to do combos with it, but that was also when I was doing it pretty often. So the goal is just cheat 9 hook, sideswipe, wrap full, pop flash. That's it. So wrap full isn't really... My wrap fulls aren't very good. So it's one of those things too where I enjoy the fact that I have to grind to get my body to not only just remember how to do these things, but to do them in a position that I actually have some control and can build on it. Because as you can see in these and all the hilarious... Well, they're probably not hilarious, but all the strange sounds that I'm making... like that, is that while I'm able to do the skill, there's elements of it that aren't really working very well. So I might be trying to do the wrap full before I've actually brought my leg through, like that. Perfect example. I can feel my leg staying dead. I think I say it here. Yep, my leg stayed dead straight, and then I had to like side twerk it to bring it around. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's a fun process to kind of regain aerial awareness and control with skills like this. And I definitely find myself that not getting as frustrated working on things like this than I do trying to rework on power combos. That really annoys me, especially because that's way harder. So for example, me trying to get something back like dub or anything like that, it's a way longer process. And because I used to drill those a lot when I was younger and it wasn't difficult, as difficult, I should say, it now gets very frustrating. So now I'm trying to work on a bunch of different things. So this is another thing that I enjoy doing as well, where it's like another weakness of mine is pivot step. So I understand that a lot of trickers use pivot step for swing chains, and everyone's quite, well, I shouldn't say everyone, but majority of trickers are quite good at it. I noticed that's actually a similarity that myself and Hayden Trilson have, although Hayden Trilson is infinitely better at swings than I have ever been. But both he and I actually would opt to use more of like a J-steps like setup rather than doing pivot step. But that's exactly where I wanted to work on this. A, because it isn't something I use very often, so I want to try and get a little bit better at it. And B, also in the sense of just getting my timing right with my swings. So now what I'm trying to work on here, a couple of clips ago I was starting with it when I was trying to do the aerial mega to aerial semi, and it just wasn't working. So now what I'm trying to do is, again, inspired by Damon and Aaron, is what's called the 4 seasons combo. So what it ends up being, so what I'm actually doing in this stage is I'm actually working on the last 3 tricks of it.
Now I need to practice a GMS, but I don't want to do the fucking Marge Simpson thing again.
So the last 3 tricks, it's meant to be from a front swing, but it's just meant to be, and again, throw back to the Marge Simpson of the last video, that's why my GMSs feel really strange, but the goal is meant to be, the last 3 tricks is raise, gainer to GMS. So the focus is, I just wanted to get the last part of the combo, which as I said there, I think, sketchily did it.
Boy, I sure hope I can get all 4 season combo.
The reason why I say that is because I'm pretty sure back in the day there was a brand of condoms that was called 4 Seasons. So anyway, so now I'm trying to understand the start of the 4 Seasons combo, and because my aerial mega is shocking, I was even trying to understand if I could get cart mega into cart mega into aerial semi, and I just can't get the position right, because what I'm doing is I'm falling into it rather than lifting off that leg, and it's becoming way too Webstery. That wouldn't be a problem if I was able to lift up enough. So after realizing I just couldn't quite get that, I then decided to just go from the 4 moves, which was aerial semi, front swing raise, swing gainer to GMS. My front swing game is pathetic, and so again, it's fun though. It's fun to actually have to try and work these things, because I'm getting a big workout out of this, because I can have more attempts, because I'm not getting as drained as doing combos with triple fall. But as you can see there, jiggling my little leggies around because they're getting a wee bit tight. And yeah, it's a fun endurance game trying combos like this, because I have to get better at each skill individually while also being able to rep out more goes. Speaking of reps, another weakness of mine is my kicks. So I know I mentioned that earlier in the video, but that's exactly why I want to work on getting them as sharp as I can and kicking out in a good position. So my friend Mike Guthrie, and if you're a tricker and you haven't heard of him, yikes. So Guthrie put out a video recently called, it's not called, it was doing a jackknife tutorial. He's done countless jackknife tutorials over the years, but I really enjoy watching them and hearing his perspective, so that it gave me a little bit of an understanding of what I should be focusing on, because my jackknives, while I can do them and could do them back in the day, they were very much the 540, and then the second kick was more of an outward crescent, and I would like to make it more of a sharper second kick. So all of these aren't great. They were just trying to get the hip position right, but I just couldn't get it. Now, speaking of just couldn't get it, I had this idea of like a 3-hitter for a combo. So the goal was pop 7 double, touchdown swipe, cheat 7 twist. Same problem I have with Snapu, where when it comes to the 7 twist, or even similar with like double B twist and things like that, is that once I start going into the twist, I'm rushing the setup and either going close to a wall, or I'm just not committing, and so I'll do the turn, but because I'm not actively squeezing my core, I can't stand up enough. So I wanted to make sure I could just do it by itself, and that was okay. But this took me like a couple of days to actually just get the simply just putting a hand down was done. Ready?
Love it. No!
No, indeed. So you just see from these, I'm not taking my time to step across. I'm just wrapping into them way too early. And so I'm losing my trajectory. I'm not spinning very tight, if that makes sense. And so this was, I think, the following few days after. So this was a Sunday session we had. We don't have too many of those, but this one was because we did a sampler session where we had 7 different trickers from Brisbane all create and release a sampler. Bitch! And that's right, Phil. You know what you are. I know where I stand. So I do eventually get the combo, and all I really needed to do was A, commit to the 7 twist by squeezing my core, and B, take the time to really step that right foot across. Should not have taken that long to do it, and I was pretty sure I was upright, but turns out it wasn't as bad as I thought. So going with the theme of trying to make sure I can still activate my core while twisting, I just wanted to do some triple falls, but only from round off. Now, shout out to Trunks.
Yes, yes, yes!
Yeah! He jokingly was like, let me show you how it's done. And the moment I saw him do a cartwheel, I was like, he's going to stomp it. So I'm not sure how many triple falls he's done on floor, but it's less than, well, maybe it's more than 10 now. But, like, shout out to you, Trunks. That was so
Sorry?
We have the same pinky toe.
Fuck yeah!
Check
I'm
this
not
shit
sure how
out.
to react to that.
This is literally the same as your pinky.
Yeah.
Brother. Yeah.
They should hang out. Maybe kiss on weekends.
Get matching toe rings.
That would be tough to explain to Tori.
So I'm hoping by Christmas this year, Max and I will have matching toe rings because our little toes are basically related. Anyway, so what I'm doing here is I'm trying to work on what Jordan Alexander, and again, if you don't know who he is, look him up. He is an amazing human, very good looking, and we even had a dream that we shared. No, I had a dream about him, which I told him about while we were in Japan, and that's been a bonding part of our friendship ever since. He was helping me understand how to do the B kicks, an aerial scissor or a B kick scissor. So I was trying to understand it, but I couldn't quite get it. So what I'm trying to do in this session is I'm trying to see if I can make the distinction between the 2 styles of hyperhooks and box cutters. There's more than 2, obviously, but trying to get 2 specific styles. So one of them, which I called the modern style, is the kind of hyperhook I'm practicing here, where it comes across like that spinning back kick and then it extends. So it makes it easier to point the toe. It just doesn't have the same big swipey effect. So I'm just trying to get it to cartful hyperhook. So I've just warmed up with a few, and then I'm trying to implement what I've called the modern style of hyperhook here. The problem with it is that it doesn't really look very powerful, unfortunately. Now, again, that's why I wanted to film it from several different angles. Well, realistically, just 2, because again, I've noticed this over the years, depending on where you film certain things, especially kicks, can really make or break how the skill looks in general. While you don't need to hear me talking in the video, I'm explaining to Yaz that what I was trying to do is the back kick style, which is safer because your plant leg is also facing forwards instead of side on. So these next couple attempts, what I'm trying to do is get it back to the old style that I used to do, which is I turn more and my leg kind of comes more around me in an arc shape instead of it being a sharp kick. Now, it's a little bit unclean because I haven't tried to do it the old school style for quite a while. While it's not as clean as I want it to look.
I'm going to try the good old-fashioned hyperhook style this way, which is more dangerous. But hey,
I don't know what I'm saying, but while it's not as clean as I want it to look, I can bring that kick shape out a lot better. The problem with it, though, is that it can be unsafe.
Point my toes because I'm...
Fill it in the comments, what am I? But anyway, that's it for October. See you next time.